What is up, people of the internet? Welcome back to Unknown Facts, the channel where we uncover truths that are stranger and scarier than fiction. I'm your host, and today we're not talking about cute, cuddly teddy bears. Oh no, we're going way darker. We're exposing the 15 most dangerous toys ever made. These aren't just oops, I got a boo-boo toys. These are call an ambulance, stat kind of toys. Smash that subscribe button and ding the notification bell for more mind-blowing content. Now let's get to the danger. Alright, kicking off our list of why did they think this was a good idea toys, we have the legendary, the infamous lawn darts. Or as I like to call them, miniature javelins of suburban doom. Picture this, giant, heavy darts, like a foot long, with a super sharp metal or hard plastic tip, designed to be thrown underhand high into the air, hopefully landing inside a plastic ring on the ground. Hopefully. What could possibly go wrong with that scenario, especially when you add kids, unpredictable throwing skills, and the general chaos of a backyard barbecue? It's a recipe for disaster, people. These weren't your average, lightweight, Nerf-style darts, oh no. These things had some serious heft to them, designed to stick into the ground. Next up we have a toy that looked completely innocent, even kinda cool, but was hiding a seriously sinister secret. Remember aqua dots? These tiny beads fused with water to create mosaics? Sounds harmless, right? But here's the twist. The coating on these beads turned into GHB, a date rape drug when ingested. Yes, you heard that right. Ah, the Easy Bake Oven, a beloved childhood classic for generations, right? The dream of every kid wanting to be a mini chef baking tiny cakes and cookies with the power of a light bulb. It sounds so wholesome, so nostalgic, but beneath that warm, sugary glow lurked a potential for some pretty nasty owies. While the original concept was relatively safe for its time, later models, particularly one specific version, turned this iconic toy into a miniature torture device. Or well, a serious burn and entrapment hazard, which is almost as bad when you're 7. The main culprit was a front-loading version of the oven, introduced in the mid-2000s. Instead of the classic side slot, this one had a little door at the front. Chapter 4. Magnetics. The insides attacker. Magnets. They're fun, they're fascinating, they stick to your fridge. What could be dangerous about magnets, especially when they're part of a cool building set like magnetics? These toys featured plastic rods with tiny powerful magnets at the ends and larger steel balls that you could connect them to, creating all sorts of geometric shapes and structures. It was like Lego, but with the awesome power of magnetism. Sounds pretty rad, right? Well, the rad part quickly turned to bad when those tiny magnets decided to go on an internal adventure. The problem wasn't so much with the intended use, but with the construction of the toy pieces themselves. The small, powerful neodymium magnets were housed inside the plastic rods. Chapter 5. Snack Time Cabbage Patch Doll. It had the munchies for you. Cabbage Patch Kids were a cultural phenomenon in the 80s, those soft, cuddly dolls with unique names and adoption papers. They were all about love and care. But then came the Snack Time Cabbage Patch Doll in the 90s, and things took a slightly more aggressive turn. This particular doll was designed to eat plastic snacks like little plastic carrots and celery sticks. It had a motorized mouth with 2 one-way rollers that would pull the food items in. Chapter 6. Sky Dancers. Pretty twirly eye pokers, oh sky dancers. These beautiful fairy-like dolls with foam wings. You put them on a launcher, pull a cord, and they'd spin gracefully up into the air. But what goes up must come down, sometimes unpredictably, turning into tiny missiles of pain. This next one is just, wow. You know the show CSI? Crime Scene Investigation? Super popular, made forensic science look cool. So, naturally toy companies wanted to cash in. Enter the CSI fingerprint examination kit. Kids could play detective, dust for prints, and solve make-believe crimes. Sounds like educational fun, right? Promoting science and critical thinking. Except this particular kit came with a very real, very dangerous, and very unknown ingredient: asbestos. Yes, asbestos. In a children's toy. For those who might not know, asbestos is a naturally occurring mineral that was once widely used in construction and other industries for its fire-resistant properties. Ah, the hoverboard craze of 2015. They weren't actually hoverboards like in Back to the Future Part 2, still waiting on those, science. But these two-wheeled, self-balancing scooters were the hottest gadget around. Everyone wanted one. They looked futuristic, they were fun to ride, once you got the hang of not immediately falling on your face, and they promised a new way to zip around. But this futuristic dream quickly turned into a fiery, fall-filled nightmare for many. What could go wrong with strapping yourself to a battery-powered plank on wheels? Apparently, a lot. One of the biggest and scariest issues was the fires. Okay, this one might seem a bit like duh, of course, it's dangerous, but trampolines are so common in backyards that we sometimes forget just how risky they can be. Bouncing up and down, feeling weightless for a moment, doing or attempting flips. It's undeniably fun. But that fun comes with a surprisingly high price tag in terms of potential injuries. Trampolines are consistently ranked as one of the leading causes of recreational injuries in children, and even adults aren't immune to their bouncy wrath. The list of potential injuries is long and varied. We're talking sprains and fractures, particularly of the arms, legs, and ankles. Awkward landings are incredibly common. Remember magnetics and the horrors of swallowed magnets? Well, imagine that, but with even smaller, even more numerous, and arguably even more tempting to swallow magnets. Enter buckyballs. These weren't marketed as a children's toy per se. They were sold as a desk toy for adults, a stress reliever, something to fidget with and sculpt into cool shapes. Each set contained hundreds of tiny, powerful, rare earth magnetic spheres. And guess what? Kids got their hands on them. Shocking, I know. The danger was precisely the same as with the loose magnetics magnets, but amplified. Let's take a trip back to the 60s and 70s for this next entry, clackers. Also known as click-clacks, knockers, or a dozen other names. These were simple toys with two hard acrylic balls on a string. The idea was to get the balls clacking together, making a loud noise. It was the fidget spinner of its day, but way more dangerous. Early versions made of acrylic could shatter on impact. They'd explode into sharp, flying shards of plastic. Imagine that happening right next to your face, or your eyes. Here's a toy that seemed fun and squishy but hid a very serious, very sneaky danger: the yo-yo water ball. These were brightly colored, liquid-filled balls, often with glitter or little plastic toys inside, attached to a stretchy, rubbery cord with a loop at the end for your finger. You could bounce them, swing them around, and yo-yo them up and down. They were cheap, they were everywhere in the early 2000s, often found in vending machines or as impulse buys at checkout counters. What could be so bad about a squishy ball on a string? The danger lay in that stretchy cord. It was incredibly elastic and quite long. Alright, let's talk about projectile toys. We had lawn darts earlier, now let's aim our sights at toy crossbows. Now some toy bows and arrows are relatively harmless, shooting soft foam darts or suction cups. But then, there are the more heavy-duty toy crossbows, the ones that try to mimic the power and range of their real-life counterparts a little too closely. These are the ones that can turn a game of make-believe medieval battle into a trip to the emergency room, or worse. The main danger with these more powerful toy crossbows is the velocity and type of projectile they can fire. This next one is particularly heartbreaking because it involves the most vulnerable among us: babies and toddlers. Inflatable baby floats. You've seen them, those cute little seats often shaped like animals or cars that allow a baby to float in a pool. They seem like a great way to introduce a little one to the water, keeping them buoyant and seemingly safe while parents are nearby. However, some of these floats have proven to be incredibly dangerous, posing a severe drowning risk. The primary danger with many of these inflatable baby floats is their instability and the risk of sudden deflation or tearing. And finally, rounding out our list, we have a more recent phenomenon: fidget spinners. These things exploded in popularity around 2017. Marketed as stress relievers and aids for focus, especially for kids with ADHD, they were suddenly everywhere. In classrooms, playgrounds, offices, you couldn't escape the whirring sound. For the most part, they were a harmless, if sometimes annoying, fad. But like many popular toys, some models came with hidden dangers, primarily choking hazards. The basic fidget spinner design involves a central bearing and 2 or 3 prongs or lobes that spin around it. The issue arose with models that had small, detachable parts. And there you have it, folks. 15 toys that prove fun and potentially lethal can sometimes be disturbingly close neighbors in the toy aisle. It's a wonder any of us survived childhood, right? Okay, maybe that's a bit dramatic, but seriously, some of these were genuinely terrifying. It really makes you appreciate modern toy safety standards. Thanks for watching this trip down a dangerous memory lane with us at Unknown Facts. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a big thumbs up, and of course, please subscribe for more content like this. We've got plenty more unknown facts to uncover.